good evening. How are you all doing today?
I'm fine, Sasi.
Thank you. Thank you. So, before we get started, is my screen visible to you guys?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah,
All right. Oh, okay, that's great. So, before we know more about our session, I have a few questions for you. So, how often do you use social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter in a day on a scale of 1 to 10? Anybody can answer.
Instagram 9.
Okay. Anybody else?
Facebook 10.
Yes, that is true. And do we have more answers? All right. So now I know that Instagram and other social media sites right now are dominating. But who remembers good old Facebook and how many of you still use them?
Sometimes,
Yeah, I mean, I use it.
Sometimes.
yeah.
Okay, that is great. So now, if you've been using Facebook for a long enough, you must know there are a lot of attractive and addictive games on it. And even on Messenger, when you're trying to ping a friend, you have an option to play little games like basketball, football, or just any other game. So those instant games that pop up on your feed or Messenger are what we're going to be talking about today. But before we deep dive into it, for those who are interested to know more about our Phaser 3 and how to build games using the same, you can watch our previous meetup recording, which is available on YouTube. You can also find the link, you'll be provided with the link in the chat box. You can also find this link in our meetup description. So today in our session, we are going to be going to see how to build Facebook instant games using Phaser. So before that, let's go ahead and learn a little about our speakers for today. So myself, Sasi Rekha, I'm a front-end developer and a core member in the Center of Excellence of Torrey Harris Integration Solutions. I've worked on a couple of projects using React.js. I'm also a very dedicated trainer of career step ladders and I've conducted many extensive training sessions on the latest technologies. Adarsh, can you please introduce yourself?
Uh, yeah, sure, Shashi. Hi, this is Adarsh. I'm a full stack developer and a core member of COE. I started my career with game development, primarily working as a game developer. I'm currently working on my few passion game projects, out of which one of my game is in beta testing phase and will be soon live in a few months. I have experience in deploying and building HTML5 games across different mobile and web browsers.
That's great, Adarsh. Thank you so much. So now let's go ahead and see what's the agenda that we have in plan. So here you can see that first we'll be going through some basics, that is gaming in browser and the different HTML5 game frameworks that we have. Then we'll be looking into Facebook instant games and how to go about it from there. Okay, so let's get started. So gaming in browser. So the modern web has quickly become a viable platform, not only for creating stunning high quality games, but also for distributing these games. Now, as a game developer, whether you're an individual or a large game studio, you want to know why it makes sense to target the web with your next game project. Now, let's look at how the web can help you. So the first thing is the reach of web is enormous, so it's everywhere. Now, games built with HTML5 can work on smartphones, tablets, PCs, and smart TVs. And secondly, it's independent of the operating system. So your players can play your game anywhere on any system at any time. Now, because the web is everywhere, your customers can check their game status on their phones, tablets, their home laptops, their work desktops, or anything else. And sharing games online. So this is again a great feature where you can share games with your friends and family and have a great time together. Sharing and playing them together online becomes very easy. And in this pandemic, if you've seen, most of us play games online with our friends, which really helps us to calm down and have a great time, even though it's virtual. Then we have a marketing and discoverability, which is improved here. So you're not limited to promoting your app on someone else's app store. So instead, you can advertise and promote your game all over the web as well as other media. So this is taking advantage of the web's inherent linkability and shareability to reach the new customers that you have. And it does not require any installation, so you don't have to worry about it occupying space on your laptops or mobile phones. And you have control where it matters, that is payments. So you don't have to hand over 30% of your revenue to someone else just because your game is in their ecosystem. Instead, you can charge what you want and use whatever payment processing service you like. And lastly, you get to manage your customer relationship more closely. And this is very important when you want to develop a game and host it. So no more, you don't have to worry about having your customer feedback filtered through an app store's limited mechanisms. So you can engage with your customers the way you want to without any middleman. So next, we'll be seeing the different game frameworks that we have in HTML5. And you'll see that there are so many frameworks here, but still Phaser is very popular right now. So let's look into the other frameworks before we talk about Phaser. So 3.js over here is a cross-browser JavaScript library and application programming interface, which is used to create and display animated 3D computer graphics in a web browser using WebGL. And next we have a Cocos 2D. So this is again a mature open source cross-platform game development framework that supports both 2D as well as 3D game creation. So the engine provides rich functions such as graphics rendering, GUI, audio, network physics, and user input, etc. And is also widely used in game development and interactive application construction. Then we have a kiwi.js. So this is again a fun and friendly open source HTML5 game engine. And some people even call it the WordPress of HTML5 game engines. So their focus is on blazingly fast WebGL rendering and the complementary tools to make the professional quality serious games. Then we have the Play Canvas WebGL. Now this is an open source game engine and it uses HTML5 and WebGL to run games and other interactive 3D content in all modern browsers without the need for a plugin. Now, there are many other frameworks like Babylon, Pixie, Melon.js. But amongst all of this, why is Phaser so famous? Now, this is because it is a fun, free, and fast 2D game framework for making HTML5 games for desktop, mobile, web browsers. And it's also supporting Canvas as well as WebGL rendering. And it can automatically swap between them according to your browser support. Now this also allows for lightning fast rendering across the desktop as well as mobile. But now these are the very basics of HTML5 game frameworks and about Phaser. Now let's get started on the exciting part of today's session, which is the Facebook Instant Games. Now, what are Facebook Instant Games? So, it was first launched in 2016. The platform lets developers build mobile friendly games using HTML5 that work on both Facebook and Messenger instead of requiring users to download the native apps from Apple or the Google App Stores. The Instant Games platform kicked off its launch a couple of years ago with 17 games from developers like Bandai Namco, Konami, Taito, who offered popular titles like Pac-Man, Invaders, and Words with Friends. The different gaming services that are available for web games on Facebook are, say, sharing, which is you can grow your game by giving people the right opportunities to share. Then you have game requests, so it lets the players invite their friends to a game and send in-game gifts or messages. And also it lets them know, it lets your player know whether it's their turn in a multiplayer match. And app notifications, so you can re-engage players with short free-form messages that call them to action or tell them about important events. Then we have web hosting by Facebook. So it uploads your game's client code directly to the Facebook instead of hosting it on your own or other third party servers. So, with that being said, let's see the Facebook Instant Gaming with Phaser. So, now we know that Phaser has a fantastic HTML5 game framework that works on both desktop as well as mobile web browsers. Now, not only this, it is constantly getting updates and new features. And one of the new features in the native support for Facebook Instant Games. So this feature was added in the version 3.13 and it is like absolutely great. And with the new addition, it is a very easy to take your existing Phaser game and turn it into Facebook Instant Game, which is what we're going to be looking today. And as powered by the HTML5 technology, the instant games can use Phaser to quickly load and can be accessed across all the platform. And once you deploy, you can reach your users wherever they are on their iOS, Android, or the desktop. Now, with all that being said, we need to know what to do next, right? So once you've hosted your game and everything, so we need to know how to monetize it, right? So in addition to getting users to spend more time on Facebook's platform, Instant Games provides Facebook with the potential for new revenue streams as Facebook is into game monetization. Now, Facebook offers a family of products and services that are particularly useful for game developers to build, grow, and monetize their games across multiple screens. Now, developers will also have to access Facebook's monetization manager, where they can track, manage ads, and track how well the placements are performing, as well as the Game Switch API for the cross promoting games across the platform, or creating a deep links that work outside the Facebook and Messenger. Now, to go ahead and see the other interesting facts that we have about Facebook Instant Games and how to start building and the simple steps that you'll have to take. So, others, can you please take over and go ahead with the Facebook Instant Games?
Yeah, Shashi. Thank you. So, is the screen visible?
Yes, Adarsh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So before we begin this thing, I want to uh, tell you that Facebook gaming and Facebook instant gaming, they both have combined, and they at this moment they all will be served under one hood. And this is a big change because if you look at the mobile app market, India is the fastest growing. The growth rate in the year 2020 is the is around 49%, and India is the fastest growing mobile app market in the world. So this is a very good time for you to like focus on gaming, and the number of new gamers which are joining the this mobile app market are increasing exponentially. So this is a very good time for you to learn how to monetize your game or how to deploy your game in this Facebook ecosystem. Uh, so uh, to start with, you need to have a Facebook developer account and you need to create an application on that. So it's a very simple procedure. You simply need to go to the Facebook developer site, and you need to sign in with your Facebook credentials, and you need to create an app. So when you will create an app, you have to uh, create an instant game because the platform which in which we will be deploying our game will be an instant game. So once you have created an application which is an instant game, you will have a set of products for you which will help you to analyze your game and monetize your game, and we will talk about all those things. So a few of the products which you need. So one of them is the Facebook Analytics, Audience Network, and Instant Games. So this Instant Games is the so in Instant Games there are two things which are very important. The first thing is the details, uh, which so first thing is the details, which will have the the game name, the publisher, the app icon, and other things. And let me show you. Like uh, we have a running implementation of this Facebook game. So if I reload this Facebook game, you can see there is an app icon, and this the game which we have previously developed in the previous session is integrated with this Facebook instant games. The another thing which you need to look at is the web hosting. So web hosting is the place where you will deploy your bundle file. So it will be a bundle file which will be a zip file which will have that fbconfig.json. So the best part about this web hosting thing is the A/B testing, which is the split testing. So what you can do is that you can deploy a particular feature to a limited number of users, so that you can actually find a correlationship between one feature or the other feature and which one works fine, which one works better, and you can use Facebook Analytics for that. So that's where you can use the Facebook Instant Games for this. So let's begin on this coding section. Uh, so one thing I will want to tell you is that you need to have a Facebook SDK, which will be in the index.html file. You have to import that. And so this Facebook SDK is like a wrapper around your game. So what you need to do is that you need to talk with that Facebook SDK via the Phaser 3 Facebook plugin, which is inbuilt in Phaser 3. So the first thing that you need to do is that you need to initialize your Facebook SDK, and once your Facebook SDK is initialized, you can initialize your game too. So if you look at this particular thing, the first thing what happens is that Facebook will get initialized, and after then my game will get initialized. So here's the code for that. It's very simple. And the second thing which you need to do is that you need to send all the events and send all the details and all the information to the Facebook SDK, so that Facebook SDK can show all those details to the players. So it's a very simple procedure to do that. So we have this Facebook plugin, which is the Phaser 3 Facebook plugin. And this Phaser 3 Facebook plugin is actually sending all the details, how much the assets are being loaded, that percentage, and that percentage is simply reflecting over here. So as you can see, as the assets are getting loaded, I'm sending all those events, and I don't really have to do a lot of things because this Phaser 3 plugin is talking with the Facebook SDK. Another, yeah. So let's, yes. So yeah, we have learned how to add the instant game, and yeah, we are learning. We have talked about how to import the Facebook game SDK. We have talked about how to load the Phaser 3 SDK. It's pretty simple over here. Like you simply need to pass all that information which you're getting from this loader to the Facebook SDK, and Facebook SDK will handle that thing for you. And just a minute. Yes. So now one of the biggest important thing is that you need to have a leaderboard, and you need to understand how these things work. So in Facebook, we have something known as context. If I start my game over here, if I start my game over here, as you can see, like this game is solo. Like there's no other player in this game. So suppose I have finished this game, and so this was a solo game. And suppose if I click on play again with your friends, my context will get changed. So in Facebook, we have this thing concept known as Facebook context. So based on the context, you need to design your gameplay. For example, if you're playing alone, the context would be solo. And if you're playing with your friend, just one friend, the context would be a thread. And if you're playing in a group, the context would be a group. And if you're playing, suppose you have clicked on a post and then you are playing that game, then the context would be post. So depending upon the context which you have, depending upon the context, the gameplay has to change. So you can know like what is the context of the game by simply pinging into this Facebook SDK, and it will actually tell you what is the context of the game. And depending on that, you can change your game. So good part about Facebook instant games is that you can use the social context to increase engagement. So as you can see, like first the game was solo, and then at the end of the game, I am like triggering. I'm telling the players like to engage or like play with your friends. So once they have played with their friends, they can actually call other people who are not part of their friends group, and that's how you are using that social context to increase engagement in Facebook instant game. So one of the important thing is that you need to focus on the leaderboard. So if you go over here, you will have this leaderboard. So Facebook previously used to support global leaderboard, but right now it only supports contextual leaderboard. So depending upon different context, you will have different leaderboards. So suppose if I'm making this game over, I can click on play again with my friends, and suppose if I click Roshan Raj, at this point, the context of the game has changed. Now I am playing with Roshan Raj, and I will be ranked based on what Roshan Raj has scored. And there will be a leaderboard for that. Yes, and there would be a leaderboard over there. So this leaderboard has a context. In this context, only me and Roshan are there, and that's why I like Facebook instant games, because you can use this context at a you can use the power of context to have tournaments. So suppose you can actually make a contextual link in Facebook instant games, which can yeah you can make a contextual link which you can use to share it to different people, and all the people who have clicked on that link will be part of that tournament, will have that same context, and they all will be ranked based on this leaderboard. uh, Second part is that I can invite my friends. I can like share this thing with public, or I can like post this thing with my friends, and all the friends who will click on this post will have the same context. So all the friends who are connected to me can also be part of the leaderboard. So this is one of the great feature about the Facebook instant games. So if you look at the code, uh, I will just focus on about the Phaser 3 Facebook plugin, which we have over here. The, the Phaser 3 Facebook plugin helps us to integrate helps us to talk with the Facebook SDK very easily. The reason is that it uses a pub sub model. For example, suppose I'm loading an ad over here. So if the ad is successful, it will emit an event, and if the ad is unsuccessful, it will emit another event. So with the help of this, the code is very easy to manage. I mean, because game is very event based, and game programming is very event based, and these kinds of plugin help us to integrate with the Facebook SDK. Suppose if I have to write with a new window dot Facebook SDK and then write all that callback or using await or async, it becomes a very cumbersome process to integrate any SDK. But because Phaser 3 has a plugin to talk with the Facebook SDK, it becomes very easy to write code. So uh, So there is one important thing that you might have noticed, that the UI has changed a little bit. And the reason I've changed the UI is because I'm using the Facebook context to change the game UI. For example, when the player was playing solo, I just told him like to play it with her friends, and then when the player was playing with his friends, I told him like, yeah, you can share this post and play with all of your friends, or you can share it this post, and you can play with people who are not your friends. And that's how like Facebook instant games are so engaging, and we're using this social context to achieve this thing. So over here, if I click on play again with your buddies, and suppose I play with Shashi Rekha. So when I will play with Shashi Rekha, the leaderboard generated will be different, because in this leaderboard, me and Shashi are there. One of the important feature which I will talk about is the is the monetization thing. So if I click on this ad, uh, so this ad will be a reward video ad. So when I will click on this ad, I have to watch this ad for 30 seconds. And the moment I will watch this ad for 30 seconds, I will get an I will get a reward. And so this way, I'm actually complementing my gameplay. It's not an interstitial ad, which will get displayed like a banner over here or over here. It's something just complementing with my gameplay. And later that and we will actually see that how rewarded video ads and in-app purchases can yield your optimization. So the place where you place this rewarded video ad is very important, and how you place it and the frequency of it, it's very important. So uh, suppose you are placing this ad at every level, and you are giving them character updates or character upgrades, or you're giving them coins, like just like Subway Surfer does. Like if you watch ad, they will give you coins. These kind of ads, people are more ready to watch these kinds of ads, because when rewarded video ads are combined with in-app purchases, people know that this rewarded video ad has some value to it, because instead of paying for that coin, you are watching a few ads for it. So people are more ready to watch that ad, and if they don't want to watch that ad, they have the option to buy it. So in this way, like, you're yielding your optimization. So a lot of developers won't even show ads for 5 levels. So after you have completed 5 levels, they will start to show rewarded video ads, and they will tell you to do in-app purchases, and people uh, are more readily they are buying those things, because you have invested a lot of time, you have invested part of yourself in that game, and you can't quit it. So we simply use all these game tactics to maximize our yield optimization. So the thing about rewarded video ads is that you have to watch it for 30 seconds. So every time, so one of the thing which comes is that you need to add this like load this rewarded video ad. So the best strategy is that you should load this rewarded video ad at the start of the game, or at the start of the level, or you need to predict, like, when you have to load this game. Because if you don't load this ad earlier, what will happen is that people won't be watching this ad, because it could take some time for this ad to get loaded. So over here, uh, yeah, so over here, I'm actually loading this particular ad over here. So this is the placement ID, and once this ad is loaded, I am showing this ad over here. And once this ad is shown, I have this event. So for example, if the user clicks on return, like if the user didn't watch the game, I won't provide him the reward. And if the user is like have watched the complete game, complete ad, I will provide him the reward. So yeah, let's click on this. So here it is an ad of Instagram. So after this point, if I click on back, and if I click on return to game, I won't get my reward. I need to completely watch this ad, and when I will watch this ad completely, I will get my reward. So yeah, at this point, if I do cross, I will get my reward. And as you can see, like my life has increased and I can score more points. And yeah, so one of the thing is that once you have loaded an ad, you can only show it once, only once. So if you want to show multiple ads, you need to load them multiple times only. Uh, yeah, so I've clicked on game over. And so as you can see, like I have played this game with Shashi, and Shashi hasn't played this game with me. So in leaderboard there is only me, and if Shashi plays this game like if Shashi plays better than me, she will be the first ranker in this game. So one of the thing which I need to cover is that when you are creating your leaderboard, you will have option to select like if a particular a score is like if it is higher is better or lower is better, and you have two things over here. One is the score format. It can be custom or it can be time based. So if you're if you're going with numeric also, you can actually tell it okay like this, if it is lower it is better or if it is higher is better, so that it will rank according to it. And yeah, once you have created your leaderboard, this the name of the leaderboard is not sufficient for you to show that thing. You need to have a context ID with also. So over here, I think you can see it. If you go to the leaderboard, if you just a minute. Yes. So if you go to this leaderboard, you will see that there is a context ID associated with it. So I guess when I'm loading this game at the top, yes. So as you can see over here, there's a context ID associated with it. So based on the context ID, the leaderboard is different. So when I played game with Roshan and I were assigned a particular context ID, and leaderboard name plus that context ID made that leaderboard unique, and that's how like Facebook recognizes like one leaderboard from another leaderboard with the help of this context ID. Uh, Another important thing over here is that yes, so we have talked about leaderboard. Yes. Uh, yes, so let's talk about the review stage over here. Yes, so we have to talk about this. The review procedure, I mean, if you would have uploaded, I mean, like if you go just a year before, the review procedure was a little bit more easier. At this time, it is little bit more stagnant, but it's not that stagnant also. I mean, you can expect a time of about 2 to 3 days for your game to get reviewed, and it will be live in the App Store. And one of the cool important feature for developers is that you can all the players who are part of who are actually developers, if you give, so this is an app which I've created, and in this app if you look at the roles, uh, I have added Roshan Raj and Shashi Rekha as my developers. So when you're testing your game, you can actually play with your developers. So this is a test. So this game is in testing phase. So at this stage, I can't play with other players. I can only play with players who are part of my developer groups. So this is one of the important thing to remember. Uh, so now if we go to the monetization, uh, go to the this rewarded video ads. Just a minute. Yes, we have covered about the details of about the Facebook instant game. Yes, submit review, launch your game. Yes. So here I will tell you that one more important thing to remember is if you go to instant games and if you go to web hosting, make sure that the build which you want to deploy has a status of production. If you're testing your game, then you can do A/B testing for a particular thing, but make sure the main thing has is actually uploaded as a production. Then we have this launch status over there. So I mean, this game is not launched. I mean, I have to uh, do all those things to make this game live. Uh, yes. So over here, when I just talked about ads, rewarded video ads, I have shown you this placement ID over here. So to get this placement ID, you need to go to the monetization manager. So over this monetization manager, you will see that you first need to create a property over here. So as you can see, I have different properties over here. So I've already created a property. So you can also create property and uh, uh, tell it, okay, like this is an instant game and all those things. You can fill it. It's not a lengthy process. So once you have made a property, you have to create an ad space. And once you have created an ad space, you can create various placements for it. So if you click on this ad space, there are different placements which I've created. And over here, you will find the placement ID, which you can use. So for different placements, so you can use different placement IDs for different levels of the game uh, uh, because you want a particular CPM target to achieve. Uh, yes, and you can also go with bidding if you want to, because Facebook audience network has it's just changing, and they are actually doing a lot of changes. And I guess in this 2000 by this 2021 they will completely move to bidding instead of waterfall mediation. So here let's look at this performance of waterfall. So as you can look over here, I have made 40 ad requests, out of which 40s are filled. A lot of stats are not there because it's in testing phase. But over here, you will actually get the impression rate and other things which you will get. And based on that, you can actually change your game strategy. For example, if you are doing a lot of ad requests and people are not watching those ads, you need to evaluate the value which you are providing to the you need to evaluate the value which you're providing to the game player. So you might need to increase the value, or you might need to give character updates to them. uh, and this is why, like, and then this is the reason like why I like Facebook games, because over here you can analyze all the stats, and over here you can do A/B testing. In this web hosting, you can do A/B testing, which is a split test. So what you can do is that you can completely optimize your games, and all of these tools are completely free. You can do split test, and at the same time you can look at this monetization and see all the Facebook stats which you need to which you need to see, and you can optimize your games. And if you look at Facebook also, like, they also believe in like developing their products in this way. They will actually once they have a particular user base, they will optimize it at a very good level, so that they are getting the highest engagement and the customers are value optimized. uh, yes, so we have seen how to submit your app, we have seen how to launch your game, and yeah, monetization. So I guess I haven't talked about the in-app purchases. So over here, you have in-app purchases also. So as you can see, like you don't have to create you don't have to add your database or anything with it. All those things can be done in this portal only, from web hosting split test to adding all the icons to looking at the launch status, and to adding product id and price and last updated. All those things can be done within over here only. So once you have added your product, uh, you can use icons and different things to represent all those products. And when people will buy your products, it will come in your payouts over here. So it can be you need to add your payment account and all other things so that you will be getting paid from this.
Thank you, Adarsh, for explaining how Phaser games can be easily converted to Facebook instant games and also how we can monetize them. I hope it was helpful for all of you. So I'll just share my screen. Okay, so as we are reaching towards the end of the session, I would like to talk about the digital experience which is provided by Tori Harris. All right. So So we know there are numerous examples to prove that enterprises worldwide are using gamification as a means to connect with their employees and customers in a fun yet in a meaningful manner. So Tori Harris offers many services to assist you with your enterprise gamification needs. So say first we have the workshops and consulting. So the workshops are mainly about brainstorming. So there is no better way to come out with an innovative list of ideas spontaneously contributed by all the stakeholders concerned. Then we have the gamification implementation. The delivery of gamified experiences often involves enhancing existing web and mobile applications to add the game elements to them. Example, scores in scorecards or leaderboards are mapped to the player's contextual data, such as, say, number of sale orders or purchases or completion of a course also. So now these implementations involve system integration activities and follow the complete software change lifecycle. Then we have a framework tools and solution accelerators. So integrated framework tools and solution accelerators give your gamification process a speedy start. So Tori Harris has developed integrated frameworks, tools and gamification solution accelerators to expedite the process of applying game thinking and design in any given context. So that is something about our digital experience, which is provided by Tori Harris. Now that we have reached the end, I would like to thank our co-organizers for helping us make this meetup successful. And before we wrap up our session for today, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn to know more about our organization. You can also follow our Tori Harris meetup group for any updates or follow-ups on the upcoming events. Thank you all for being part of this session. I really enjoyed it and I hope you all did too.